So let me tell the story that is based on the title. Why did I mess up? Actually, let me read what you guys have to say. What covenant? Okay, yeah. What covenant am I now? My armory. I said something about wood. WoW is up now. Oh, thank God. So I can fix my problem. Okay, so here's what happened. Last night I was doing edits. I was doing stuff for the guide that had just come out like 40 minutes or so ago. I did a guide that'll help kind of talk people through what's going on through 915 in better detail, and just try to make something cool. So I'm getting footage. So that involves me getting screenshots. That involves me getting, moving, capturing video, and capturing, some gameplay stuff like that. And I also had, I had both the PTR and my main client on because I needed to get stuff. I needed to get screenshots from both the live version of the client because things look a little bit different, and of course the PTR. And so I'm doing stuff. And part of what I was doing was demonstrating what happens when you switch covenants. And so I was doing some testing alongside that. So I'm like, okay, let me get on like one of my bajillion paladins on the PTR, switch a bunch of covenants so I can take a look at, how many, what are the levels of followers and things like that. So I was doing that a bunch of times, right? And in the meantime, I was like doing some work on WoW. I was doing my auctions. I was doing, I was farming for stuff, doing the usual thing. At around midnight, I'm like wrapping up. I'm trying to finish things up. I have everything done. Everything's captured. I'm like, all right, let me do some last minute farming, or actually, let me try to get a screenshot. It was the end of the night, and I'm like, all right, let me get on so I can do a screenshot for the thumbnail. All right, not a big deal. So I get onto my main. I get onto Soladin, and I'm like, all right, let me switch to a different armor set. To something else. And then I looked, and then I saw that for whatever reason the armor sets weren't looking right. I'm like, okay, how come I can't? Why is it that when I change my wardrobe to like something here, some things don't change? What gives? And so I'm like trying to troubleshoot myself. Let me do a reload UI. Let me double check my add-ons. Let me double check it on another computer to see if there's like anything going on. Eventually, that's when I realized, oh no! So I switched to a Night Fae by accident. I switched. I was popping back and forth through the live and through the live realms or live client and the PTR client so much that when I was doing some test and I was like, all right, let me look at something really quick as a Night Fae thing, I switched to a Night Fae and I didn't realize I was on the live client. So it's 12 something, right? And we had an alert that North American realms were going to go down from 2 a.m. to 10, but apparently you guys are telling me that realms are back up, thank goodness. And so it's like about 1 o'clock. I'm like, fuck. So I start grinding. Like I have to start the quest to rejoin the Kyrian. And so I do that first part of the quest where you fill up the bar and do whatever. And I didn't even go as far as like getting like Night Fae powers. So like my main never left the Kyrian, never switched covenants, never had to. And so I'm like, okay, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to go and skip, forget all that stuff. So I'm doing it with like no soul binds, no conduits, no covenant abilities. It's not a big deal because I'm just farming outdoor content. That's what you need to do. You need to fill up the bar and complete a bunch of stuff in that zone that you want to switch back to. So I'm like counting every kill. I'm like, okay, each rare gives me like 6%, each little world quest thing gives me 8%, and each treasure gives me yada yada yada. And it just felt agonizing. And I'm like stressing myself out because I'm telling myself, okay, I have to do this now because I intend to kill Sylvanas. And I'm not going to do it as a Night Fae. I'm not going to be able to perform the way that I'd like to. I don't even have even if I wanted to try and fudge it and do my best with it, I don't have a high enough renown. I can't do all that stuff and get myself back up in like less than a day. It's not going to happen. And so, okay, cool. I have an hour to knock this out, and I did. So I'm cool there. I just need to take care of the second part today. And hopefully I do. And if I don't, then I'm really gonna disappoint myself because I'll be like, sorry guys, I'll do my best. And who knows? If I were to get AOTC as a Night Fae Paladin, I'd be like, okay, I gotta be rank 1 at, somewhere up there. There's gotta be very, very few Night Fae protection paladins out there. So I'll be famous, infamous in my own sad way. So yeah, that's the subject, Lo-Fi. I screwed up and accidentally switched my main to a Night Fae. I am a Night Fae Paladin. Actually, not even. I haven't even officially joined. I'm actually just part of No Covenant right now, sort of, because I haven't officially joined the Night Fae. I'm in transition to rejoin the Kyrian. I'm like nothing. I have no soul binds. I have nothing, and so I will suffer, and I deserve it. So there is only one real topic that now that I think I can slide out of that. There's one thing that happened yesterday that is worth like talking about just a little bit. So there was there's a new startup in town. There is a new, ex-Blizzard thing going on. It's kind of like the trend. And let's get some facts down. Activision Blizzard is a big company. They employ tons of people, and the gaming industry is not quite as big as you think. So a bunch of ex-Blizzard developers, actually recently ex-Blizzard developers, they created this studio called Notorious. The name is based on, I guess these guys have been like a crew together. They kind of rolled together as a WoW guild. They called themselves Notorious, and that actually explains a lot as to like the makeup of what their team is. And I want to experience this together. I haven't I looked into like the roster or the people who are part of the startup and all that, but I haven't like looked at everything. And we'll look at that in just a second. Let me read chat so y'all can roast me. Soul has a paladin for all seasons. Oh, that's awful. How does it feel having a 262 Kyrian legendary while being Night Fae? It feels great. It feels great. So tell us, choose what did you smoke? I just had one puff of my usual night stuff, but I don't know when. There's the problem. I don't remember when I switched my main because I was doing so much of it, and at least it was like kind of a flub. I definitely would have, for all I know. I don't think I did this, but. For all I know, I might have switched to the other covenants too, and then happened to switch to Night Fae and just never noticed. But, oh well, that's it's rough. So anyway, Notorious. So let's listen to this, or let's watch this thing really quick because I wanna know what this is about. Notorious. Let me know if the sound screws up. I think I checked this before, but.
Hi there, my name is Chris Kalaki and I'm a game designer for over 13 years. Previously, I worked at Blizzard Entertainment on World of Warcraft, where I helped design classes, PvP, and more. Today though, I have some amazing news to share, and that is that alongside some amazing colleagues of mine, we're starting a new video game studio called Notorious Studios. Our founding team of colleagues of mine.
Okay, it's hard to see because, okay, there, let me get this thing out. So if you enhance that and here, it doesn't take a crew or much of anyone to point out, hey dude, you got some shit on your hoodie, man. I am gonna be nitpicky for the sake of being nitpicky. For anyone who is like, oh my god, what is he doing? Like, I'm pretty supportive of moves like these. I think these are awesome. I think these are great, but I'm nitpicky too.
We're starting a new video game studio called Notorious Studios. Our founding team of 8 all come from Blizzard, where they worked on World of Warcraft as individual contributors, spanning engineering, art, and design. It's a bit early to talk about exactly what the project is, but some of the key elements of the game stem from our shared passions as a team, which include core RPG fantasy, multiplayer gameplay, and great combat. We believe the power of games is to bring people together. In fact, our studio name Notorious comes from our gaming guild of over 17 years, also called Notorious. My guild, like perhaps many of yours, has become an integral part of my gaming life. And so whether it's just you and a couple friends on Discord or a larger community like a guild, know that we believe in the power of games to bring people together like any other medium. We're also here on YouTube specifically where we can interact with players directly, just like you. We have a deep belief that the player plays a key role in the game development process, so we're really looking forward to bringing you all along on our game development journey. Just last week, we moved in our own office. I'm actually filming in here right now. In future videos, I'll show off the office and have you meet more of the team. If you happen to work in the industry, we have some open positions available. Please check out our website. I'll put the link in the description below. That's it for now. Thanks everyone for watching this video. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to support our new small team, please like this video, subscribe, and send this video to your friends and let them know that the next great RPG world is coming. All right, until next time, later gamers.
I saw more crap on his shirt. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just like, should have just wore something else. Just take off the hoodie. No, but then he's got that shirt. It's like a crew neck shirt, but you know that one commercial? I don't know what it was. It's where a dude meets a girl for dinner and then he takes off his sweater or his jacket or something like that, and his shirt it's like the collar is just all jacked up. And the girl's like, oh, so I guess, this is like a casual night or whatever. And that's this guy, which is okay.
You meet more of the team.
It's totally okay. That's it, right? Okay, that's it. All right, let's continue. Let's continue the experience of discovering who is Notorious. I'm going to say that every time for these guys. Okay, so it's hard to see these. Let me zoom these in a little bit. Our values. Here's what it means to be Notorious. Champion the mission. Think about what's best for the company and our games. When the mission and your work don't align, it's your duty to sound the alarm. What's the experience? It's not about great code, great design, or great art. It's about a great player experience. Start with the player experience and then work backwards to the gameplay. And the code and the art. I'm sure they wanted to say too, but then that would be really long. The best ideas win. When we thrive, when we have tough, open, and candid conversations about what's best for our games and the studio. People, not process. When you optimize for efficiency, you lose flexibility and creativity. Instead of adhering to rigid pipelines and procedures, we believe magic comes from fostering an environment that nurtures imagination. Min-max everything. Perfection, quotes, perfection is achieved not when there is nothing more to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. Can't pronounce their name. Team first and then the players. If we can't design a great studio, how can we design a great game? Our team is our first priority because if the team isn't thriving, the player will never be served. Our founding team are veteran individual contributors who have the passion for world building. We got Chris Kalecki, Cole Eastburn. I'm not going to read the names. We could see pictures and all that stuff. Let's see, World of Warcraft, all these guys, former WoW devs. Interesting hair on the cone thing and all that. Cool style. Nice. And a puppy. They got my sympathy vote. California native with 4 years, a 4-year-old puppy. Oh, puppy. And then some other dudes here. And that's it. So obviously, like when it comes to any of these sorts of startups, we're not going to see anything from these guys for years. Oh, wrong thing. We're not going to see anything from these guys for like a really long time. But I do hope for the best. And we kind of have a hint. Here we go. Like this. Let me go back to this again. This thumbnail right here, or this end shot. This might give a small inkling of what they're going for, which is more like a kind of a high fantasy adventure. You see 4 people. We can kind of get a glimpse of what they could be going for. Now, this could still mean like roughly nothing, roughly 0.1% of like anything. but there's news going around, or there's talk going around, and I want to I want to address that. And I'll give I'll give my thoughts on it too. But I at least want to tried to dispel the notion that, oh, just a bunch of dudes, huh? And they conveniently left before the Blizzard lawsuit really took fruit. And, people are trying to write a narrative that among these dudes could be people who would have or could have been fired from Blizzard now after everything had went on. These guys just kind of dipped out before things got bad. And you know me, I tend to be pretty optimistic with my outlooks. I try to see the good in people first. And so for now, that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to paint these guys as supervillains just because of what, circumstantial evidence or whatever you want to call it. I'd like to think that just like how Kalecki had described it, these guys knew each other. Let's see, where is it? There was a shot of a bunch of them. Here we go. Here's a thing with, I don't know if this is all of them, but this is a good few of them, and they were already part of a guild. They already knew each other, and so if they all, for whatever reason, left the company, did this and this and this, why wouldn't they all want to band together? And from the looks of it, all these people are like their spouses or whatnot. They don't exactly look like, I wouldn't know what they look like, but I'm just guessing that these are more than likely spouses, and this is actually a guild meeting and not like a company thing. So yeah, I don't want to go down that road of, oh, these are just dude bros and yada yada yada. I do have a little bit to say, not much, but I do have a little bit to say about the fact that it is all men. And one, again, it's because they were part of guild. They were always together. Maybe there just happened to not be any females there. I'm trying to remember. Some folks have tweeted. So apparently, these guys all came together, made their own studio. It says something when they couldn't find one female to be a part of their team. Now, it could be one way or the other. It was either they didn't want to find a female to be a part of their team, or the females that they offered a spot to didn't want it. So it could be either way. But the fact of the matter is that the gaming industry is super small, and it is super disproportionate towards having a bunch of white guys, basically. We have one guy here, and then these guys may be mixed or something like that. But diversity isn't huge. Unfortunately, it's not huge in the gaming industry. It's a very region specific. If you go to America, you're going to get a lot of white people. You go to other countries, you're going to see people primarily of those ethnicities. That's just kind of how it goes, and there's not much to immediately do about it. And remember, this is a startup too. These are the guys that just got together, who knew each other, and they're still what's coming afterwards. They need to hire people, and then it's a matter of who it is that they want to hire and why. When it comes to video games, and this is going to be a hot take. Sorry me, who's going to get downvotes and people to unsubscribe and all that stuff. But when it comes to games, these guys are trying to make a fantasy world, full of magic and weirdness and, dudes with 3 dicks, for all I know. Whatever they feel like doing. It's their company, it's their game. I firmly believe that having a more diverse workforce is almost just straight up better. But we have to ask ourselves, why does it make it better? And the way that I see it, this is just from my perspective, and you can notice the color of my skin if that matters. But to me, a diverse workforce means having people that come from different backgrounds. That's like kind of the most plain way to describe it. Now, what kind of backgrounds? That's where we get into male, female, whether you're male, female, or if you are part of the LGBTQ community, or if you come from different ethnicities, different socioeconomic backgrounds, any of that sort of stuff. But it's also a matter of, okay, so you have these people, you have this diverse workforce, you have this diverse people, this diverse executive leadership, but what does that diversity bring to the table? There's a lot of folks that say, well, there's diversity, and then there's just bringing like the right talent, right? But I also believe that there is a value that comes from a perspective that has lived a certain way, as opposed to had just researched. I did my research, I talked to the right people, and yada yada yada. But is there a difference between that and having someone who just has that firsthand experience? I don't know. In games, it's I can't measure up. I can't really measure that out, and I'm no game designer. Thank goodness, right? So I couldn't begin to wonder exactly what it is that a very diverse workforce would contribute when you're trying to make like these sorts of fantasy games and things like that, because it helps. Like for example, if these guys are going to make some game that is super dude bro, not even satirical, it's just super dude bro, pro America, pro military, women are objects, they're all sex slaves or whatever. If they put out something like that, they can, they'll probably turn off like certain audiences like that. But like, I don't know, is that what we're going to expect from a team like this? Probably not. Would having a more diverse workforce make it much different from that, or would just proper research would proper research like do the job? I don't know. It's complicated, and especially we can't say much either, because these guys just announced themselves yesterday. They've got they have nothing but whatever stuff that they wrote down on napkins, and they're not going to have anything to show for this for quite some time. But my big takeaway is, well, I hope they make good games, because good games are always cool, and good games benefit us. That's really it.